What's up, YouTube? It's great to see you during this 2020 global pandemic. I have a brand new 2009, well, brand new to me, not brand new, 2009 CBR 600RR, and it has a Toce or Toce, or however you say that, exhaust, and it has proven to be incredibly loud, especially on the highway and during cold starts. Man, this thing needs a bath. Anyway, in order to not go deaf and accrue the hatred of all of my neighbors, I'm going to try to quiet it down a little bit. So the factory exhaust has two baffles, you can see them here, and down here in the back there are two bolts that hold them in place, these two right here. And normally there's a spring that goes between here and a little bracket that goes on the bolt. But I'd actually already removed those. I've put them back in now so that I can do a cold start to do a comparison video. So here we go. Sorry, neighbors. Pretty damn loud. So removing these were pretty challenging the first time, and it seems like it's still kind of stuck in there this time. So if you can find something to tap these studs a little bit and get it started, and then a nut runner, anything that you can shove up in there should help you get it out. It's going to be a little bit work. It's going to take me a second. Okay, so I've got them both past the point of the studs. And upon removal, the first time, I found that a lot of this fiberglass packing had burnt through. And also, see if this one still has it, there's a small O-ring that was on here. And might want to replace those while we're in here as well. So I measured the diameter of the opening in these baffles, and they're each 1 1/4 inch on the inside. The factory pipe that actually comes from the exhaust is 2 1/8 inch. So what we're going to do is put two 1-inch baffles with extra packing down inside here, and hopefully that'll quiet down some, and we shouldn't really lose any flow. We're losing about 1/8 of an inch diameter. Some of that'll push through the pipe, and this exhaust could use a little more back pressure on the motor anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is remove all the old packing and get it down to where it's just the cage. So unfortunately, Amazon sent my baffles that are going to go inside of this to the wrong carrier facility, and they won't be here for a few days, and I want to ride. So I'm going to do the repacking portion of this now, and we'll add the second baffle later. You're going to need your repacking material, which this material here is a little bit thicker than we'd like because we only have about maybe 1/4 inch or so of packing to put in there. You can put your baffle in it, roll it around once until the ends touch here, and you can make a cut. And then this stuff pulls apart pretty easy. I actually already cut this one to size, and then I pulled half the material apart. So this should do one baffle, and this should do the second baffle. And we're going to also need some masking tape, and we're going to roll this around and then compress it with the masking tape. So good news, got a little quarantine shave action going on here. The baffles finally came in. Amazon shipped them a state and a half away. So I put the baffles that I was originally working on back in the bike. If you have your baffles out of the bike, you're going to want to do this step of the process while they're out, but I should be able to still run the screw up in while they're inside of the bike. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. So this is the 1-inch baffling. I ordered this on Amazon. It came in a 24-inch length. The factory baffles on the Toce exhaust are around 9 inches. So I cut this into 3 8-inch lengths. You're going to want to file your ends and everything after you're done to make it smooth. And what you're going to want to do, if you have a self-tapper or a pan head, it'll work a little better. These are what I had laying around, so I'm going to give it a shot. But we're going to try to basically pack this exhaust. We're going to slide it down inside, and we're going to run those screws up through one of these holes into the holes on the factory Toce exhaust baffling, and that should fasten everything in place. And we're going to want to wrap these very tight and very thin because we only have about a little bit over 1/8 of an inch to work with on these. So we're going to take our packing and we're going to peel a thin layer off. Going to wrap our length. Find where we need to make our cut, which looks to be about right here. We should hopefully be able to make that thin enough. Make sure you get this on there nice and tight. If you have a little excess on your end like I have, just trim it off with your scissors. Your baffle all wrapped up. We're going to take it, work it down inside here. Should fit right down in. Okay. It's looking like I'm going to have to pull these back out to get my screw up in the baffling, but let's fire it up and see how it sounds. Pretty loud, but it definitely isn't as obnoxious as it was. Pull it back out anyway, but I ran the screw from the outside, comes down through. A little bit hard to see, let me get it in the light. There it is there on the inside, holding our baffle in place. We're going to reinstall it and then go for a little ride. The best thing that I like about this so far is the bike. You can hear it still has some tone, but when you're just cruising at low speed, the exhaust is really tame. It's quiet enough that I can putz around town, not worry about pissing anybody off, and still be heard a little bit. See if I can get you guys a little preview here where I can actually open it up a little bit without getting into some ludicrous speed and get on the highway here. I love it, man.
man. It still screams at the top end. Nice and tame around town. I think it sounds great. If I were getting an exhaust, I probably would have just got one a little bit quieter than the Toce, but the only one that I think would be at the volume I want would probably be the Two Bros. And since this was already on the bike, I just put this in there, probably about a $60 fix.